Good day, everyone. We are Group 4 of Block 3M3, and we are here to talk about and discuss the case between the petitioner, Bank of the Philippine Islands, or BPI, versus the respondent, Gregorio C. Rojas. The said case has the General Register of 157833, and let's get right into it. So, for the parties involved, we have Gregorio C. Rojas as the respondent and Bank of the Philippine Islands as the petitioner. The spouses Rodrigo and Marisa Kawili are also involved. So for the facts of the case, let's start with the background of the case and how the case came to be. The first transaction that happened was between the Kawilis and Mr. Rojas, which happened sometime in 1993. The said transaction was Mr. Rojas, a trader, delivered stocks of vegetables oil to spouses Rodrigo and Marisa Kawili. As payment, the spouses Rodrigo and Marisa Kawili issued a personal check amounting to 348,805 and 50 centavos, but it was later dishonored by the Drawee Bank. With this, the spouses assured Mr. Rojas that they would replace the personal check with a manager's check from BPI. To elaborate the next series of events, we have Mr. Carl Murphy.
On March 31st, 1993, respondent and Rodrigo Cavili went to petitioner's branch at Shaw Boulevard in Mandaluyong City. The branch manager named Elma Capistrano attended to them. Upon the instructions of branch manager, the bank teller Lita Sagun prepared BPI cashier's check number 14428, which is in the total amount of 348,805.50 centavos, drawn against the account of Marisa Kawili. Rodrigo then handed the check to the respondent in the presence of the branch manager Elma Capistrano. On the following day, April 1st, 1993, respondent returned to petitioner's branch at Shaw Boulevard to encash the cashier's check, but later it was dishonored. Elma informed him that Marisa's account was closed on that date. Despite respondent's insistence, the bank officers refused to encash the check and tried to retrieve it from respondent. He then called his lawyer, who advised him to deposit the check in his account at City Trust Ortigas Avenue. However, the check was dishonored on the ground account closed. So we have the issues of the case to be presented by Ms. Jelby.
With the facts stated, the issues that arise are the following. First, whether or not Gregorio Rojas, the case respondent, is a holder in due process, even though the Bank of the Philippine Islands has already said that the check was issued by error and in good faith, and that there was a lack of consideration. Second, whether the Bank of the Philippine Islands, the petitioner, is liable to the respondent for the amount of the cashier's check. The next slide will be the court ruling, elaborated by Mayor Ruiz.
For the court's ruling, a decision was made by the RTC, as a result of which this court hereby renders judgment in favor of herein plaintiff and orders the defendant, BPI, to pay Gregorio Rojas. The following are the amounts that BPI has to pay to Gregorio Rojas. First would be an amount of 348,805 and 50 centavos, the face value of the cashier's check, with legal interest thereon computed from April 1, 1993, until the amount is fully paid. Second, an amount of 50,000 for moral damages. Third, an amount of 50,000 as exemplary damages to serve as an example for the public good. Fourth, an amount of 25,000 for the attorney's fees and the costs of suit. Regarding the third-party complaint, the court ordered the spouses Rodrigo and Marisa Kawili to indemnify the defendant, BPI, the amounts adjudged and paid to Gregorio Rojas. To expound Section 52, this is what constitutes a holder in due course. A holder in due course is a holder who has the following conditions: complete and irregular upon its face. He became the holder of it before it was overdue and without notice that it had previously dishonored. That he took it in good faith and for value, and at that time it was negotiated to him. He had no notice of any infirmity in the instrument or defect in the title of person negotiating it. In this section, every holder is presumed prima facie to be a holder in due course. In this case, BPI claims that the element of value is missing, hence the respondent could not be a holder in due course. However, the petitioner's argument lacks merit. According to Section 25 of the Negotiable Instruments Law, value is any consideration sufficient to support a simple contract. An antecedent or pre-existing debt constitutes value and is deemed as such whether the instrument is payable on demand or at a future time. In conclusion, the court's ruling was deemed correct. The respondent, Gregorio Rojas, is a holder in due course. For final decision of court, let us hear Mr. Katua.
So lastly, the final decision. Next slide, please. These are the variables that put into play for the court's final decision. The check issued to Mr. Gregorio Rojas is a cashier's check, which means it has to be in cash first for it to be considered as a payment. Because according to Article 1249, the delivery of promissory notes payable to order or bills of exchange or other mercantile documents shall produce the effect of payment only when they have been in cash, or when through the fault of the creditor they have been impaired. Since they denied Mr. Ross's check, the said payment cannot be taken into effect. After the said findings, the petitioner is liable to the respondent right after it issued the said cashier's check. Having been accepted by the respondent, subject to no condition whatsoever, petitioner should have paid the same amount same upon presentment by the former. So to conclude the case, the petition of BPI is denied, and they are also obligated to the respondent. And that's all for our case digest presentation. Thank you.